please understand, everything that you struggle with ultimately will come down to your submitting or not submitting to Yahweh. The level of submission, which comes from the level of trust and belief. This is why James is saying what he says about, I will show you my actions or my belief through my actions. So submission is an action. But why would you submit? Because you believe that the one you're submitting to is one you should submit to, because you trust that doing so will bring the benefit or the outcome you're looking for. Now, if you don't think the outcome is going to be there, you may look to submit somewhere else. And then you're seeking it from somewhere else. And that's what gets them in trouble and will get you in trouble. So hopefully we understand this in verse 20, right? From of old. He's saying this isn't new. I'm not just picking on you guys right now when Jeremiah is there. Your forefathers had the same problem. We see this when we read the book of Exodus. As soon as they leave Egypt, it starts right away. As soon as they leave Sinai, it starts right away. So you come by this naturally, so to speak, okay? It's not unusual for human beings to have this problem. We see it in the garden, okay? As soon as human beings exist, we see the problem. Because Abba decided, for all of you predestination people, Abba decided to give you free will. And so you choose. So you're not predestined in that way. When we read about the idea of being predestined, it means that he already knows, because he's already seen what you did, because you've already done it. We're doing it now, but in his world, there is no time. Everything's already happened and is happening and didn't happen. It's all there. He can see the end from the beginning. So he already knows what you will do, not like he's destined you to do it, so therefore you have no choice. No, he knows the choices that you're going to make. Yeshua with Judas said, do what you're going to do, because he wasn't predestined like poor guy was born and was destined to be the guy. They knew the decisions he would make, that he would be the one to do what he did, to betray Yeshua at that time. It's not like we should just feel bad for the guy thinking, well, somebody had to do it and this poor guy had to be the guy. Well, yes, somebody had to do it, and he was brought into the mix knowing he would be the one that, if given the choice, would do it. By his choice, because it's free will. Abba picked who he picked knowing what they would do. He picked Abraham knowing what Abraham would do. Of all the people, when he went to pick Abram, he knew Abram would be the guy to do what needed to be done. He did the same thing with Noah. And so when he picked you, guess what? He also knows what you will do. He also knows if you make it or not. And he's not going to tell you which is which. But he did tell you you can make it. He picked you knowing that you could. He also knows if you do or not. And so this is something we have to embrace. It's very strange and hard because we are linear in time. Our lives are linear through time. He's outside of all that. Sometimes we think of outside of that meaning that he lives forever. Yes, he does. But also being outside of time, everything is happening, it's already happened, and everything at the same time. Because he could already go forward and look and see how it plays out. That's why Yeshua was slain from before the foundation of the world. Father and Son always knew that moment was going to come. No surprises. It was always coming. From the minute that they decided to make a world with human beings, they knew for that plan of living with people forever, for that plan to actually happen, Yeshua was going to need to do what he did. There was never an issue with that. Why? Because they already saw how it would play out. And so that's important that we understand this. So this is simply saying that from of old, like your forefathers, like every other human being on the planet, you struggle with your yoke and with your bondage. Remember, we are told we are slaves to whom we serve. They came out of Egypt to bind themselves, to be in a bondage to the Creator. But it's a bondage of blessing, not a bondage of curse. It's only suffering because we look at it wrong. When we see things going on and we start blaming him for things, it's because we're not looking at it right.